Hey everybody, welcome back to Comic Crow, and I want to talk to you about this story because, one, it's deeply disturbing, but also I think this is exactly what I've been talking about and what a lot of people have been trying to get across when we talk about predators abusing these new systems in order to gain access to women's spaces for the purpose of abusing them. Now, the Loudoun County bathroom situation. To be clear, in Loudoun County, they made the bathrooms inclusive, meaning if you identified as a female, you got to use the women's restroom. A male student who just went around wearing girls' clothing was then able to abuse their trans-inclusive policies to gain access to the women's restroom where he raped a student. Now we have, to a much more absurd and grand degree, we have a rapist, okay? After he appears in court for his rape charge, he then says, I identify as a female, and they say, okay, well, we're going to send you to the women's prison. This is an individual who has raped two women in 2016 and 2019 and was then sent to a women's prison because all they had to do was say they identify as a female. Now, when we look at this situation, sure, we could say, hey, look, you can't put somebody who just says they identify as a woman into a woman's prison because, again, you could have a man who is a predator simply do that so that they can gain access to those women. Maybe we could even have dialogue with trans activists and say, okay, well, what if we do it for women, trans women who have undergone the surgery, or for trans women who have been taking hormones and, you know, it doesn't function down there, right? Or something of that nature. Even say trans women who have been trans for like 5 to 10 years, okay? Just so we know that they're not doing it just so they can gain access to these women. But see, here's the problem. The trans activist will then say, no, fuck you, that's transphobic, because some of these people can't afford to take the hormones or to go through all of these treatments. And now we wind up with a problem just like this. And are we going to have honest dialogue around it? No. Here's what's really going to happen. The trans activist will look at this story and simply state, this is a non-issue, okay? This is a one-off. This is a non-issue. Think of all the trans people that we are helping. Forget about all the women that we are putting in jeopardy. When they did this in California, for instance, we saw that the amount of pregnancies skyrocketed in the prisons because you had quote-unquote trans women being sent to the women's prison where they were sexually assaulting the female prisoners, the biological female prisoners, because I know this gets confusing. Now I'm going to read through the article, but again, I don't know if there is any way to actually have to have proper dialogue to actually come to terms, because we can clearly see what the trans activists want to put into place. It's so easy to be abused. It is overwhelmingly easy to be abused. And see, the problem is you can say that too, and then they'll flip it around and go, well, men shouldn't be abusing women. And you just walk in this fucking cycle, right? Yeah, no shit. Unfortunately, bad people exist. What are you gonna do? There was fury today after a transgender rapist attacked two women as a man then changed gender before the trial. Isla Bryson was a shaven head Adam Graham with a Mike Tyson-style face tattoo when they carried out the violent sex attacks in 2019 and 2018 after abusing the victims they originally met online. Bryson, who claimed to have had gender issues since the age of 4, began transitioning from a man to a woman in 2020 after being charged with the rapes. The attacker denied the accusations, telling jurors any sex was consensual, although Bryson insisted he did not like sleeping with women, and they made the first move. See, That's the other problem, right? Because now they're identifying as a woman. Now they're going to court. I don't even like women. I'm a woman. I'm a straight trans woman. God, it's so disgusting. It's so disgusting. And you have a rapist just brazenly taking advantage of all of this. There was no reference to the 31-year-old having a gender recognition certificate during the trial. It is understood Bryson is being held in segregation unit at Cordenvale Women's Prison, where the attacker will be risk assessed ahead of sentencing to see where she will serve her term. He will serve his term. Okay, like I'm not going to respect this. Okay, and I think anyone respecting it is being so disgusting. Okay, we do not respect the wishes of rapists. Okay, we do not respect the wishes of convicted rapists. All right. Today, Bryson was found guilty of the 2 rape charges. The defendant denied the charges, saying the evidence she would never hurt another human being. Her defense case, God, it's just so annoying reading this. He, him, and he, and him, and he, and he, and him, and him, and he raped her with his penis. There you go. Scottish Conservative Shadow Community Safety Minister, that is such a long title, Russell Finlay, said today the rapist decided that he was no longer a man only after appearing in court on a rape charge. Yeah, exactly. We now have the utterly perverse situation where a Scottish court refers to someone who says he identifies as female using her penis to rape 2 vulnerable women. We warned of the inevitability of this happening in the SNP's gender self-ID law passed, but this is something that happened in Scotland. It's the SNP gender laws over there that fully follows gender ideology, and it's allowed for this to happen. Are they going to take accountability? Do they even fucking care? No, they don't. Women will be assaulted. They are just going to sit there and try to cover it up. I guarantee it. The first victim recalled repeatedly stating no as her muscular attacker raped her when the then man got onto the bed beside her in 2016. The second one was raped at a flat when they were planning to watch the film Mean Girls in 2019. Bryson had first appeared in the doc in July 2019 as Adam Graham. By the start of his 6-day trial, Daily Mail is going to make me have a fucking aneurysm. The defendant was known as Isla Bryson. Bryson is currently taking hormones and seeking a surgery to complete gender reassignment. In December, around 60 protesters gathered outside Cordenvale where trans woman pedophile... God, yeah. It came amid ongoing controversy over Nicola Sturgeon's gender recognition reform, Scotland Bill GRR, which would allow anyone over 16 to self-identify as the opposite sex without needing medical diagnosis of gender dysphoria. So these aren't actually trans people, okay? This is what I mean by they are not actually trans people. They are just people who are saying, hey, I identify as this, that's what I am. They don't have gender dysphoria. They're looking at an internet fad and they're joining on, and they are going to go and give themselves life-altering surgeries, believing they are something that they are not. Because again, trans people do exist, as far as I am concerned, but you have to go through the proper medical diagnosis to see is, hey, are you trans, or hey, is it something else? Okay, are you dealing with some sort of other mental health issue, and maybe you need help with that because you don't actually have gender dysphoria? Like, I feel like we don't want to like have those conversations because that would reduce the amount of people identifying as trans, and that seems like it would be more harmful than, you know, actually causing harm to people. But, you know, there we are. If you allow anyone to self-identify, also, you are going to have people that just self-identify for the purposes of abusing these systems. Predatory men seeking to prey on women and children. And again, they're not trans either, okay? They're doing it just to gain access to women, all right? They will do anything to gain access to women or to gain access to children. And this law allows them to do it. It gives them such easy access that a man who raped 2 women is now going to be sentenced to a female prison. On Monday, Rishi Sunak blocked Mr. Sturgeon's controversial gender reforms after receiving clear legal advice that they would undermine women's rights in the UK. The Scottish law would allow people to seek a gender recognition certificate after living in their new gender for just 3 months and without the need for medical evidence. Campaigners warned it could allow biological males to access women-only spaces. Yeah, that's exactly what it did. That's exactly what it did. Campaigners warned, and then it happened. The gender law was passed by the Scottish Parliament last month with the backing of Labour and the Liberal Democrats, as well as the ruling SNP. Today, Isla Bryson appears to be heading to an all-female jail after raping 2 women. After raping 2 women, this individual will go to a female-only prison. After raping 2 women. And if you go to Scotland and you try to call it out, they'll call you a TERF and they'll hold up signs saying, well, we want to decapitate and murder you. These people are disgusting. These people do not care. They don't care that actual harm is happening. All they care about is being right, you being wrong, and that's all that fucking matters. That's all they need to go fight an idiotic battle that puts women at jeopardy, right? Again, this is what, like we talk about the J.K. Rowling stuff and everything. J.K. Rowling warns about this exact thing happening. This exact thing happens, totally preventable, and what do they do? What do they fucking do? Ignore it. Pretend it's not a thing. It's made up. It's conservatives, old conservative men trying to attack the trans community and steal their rights. A bunch of women being raped, that doesn't bother them. God, it's so... Oh no, it does. It does. Kind words. Kind words. Kind words. Stand in solidarity. Oh my God, it's so disgusting. Not a care in the fucking world. Not a care in the fucking world. I don't want to read through the details of the assault. I understand. I really understand that would be important context to know just how depraved the individual is. But forgive me. This whole thing is so nasty and so disgusting and so wrong. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? The argument was at one time, nobody would just I changed their gender identity just to win in sports. Well, guess what? A rapist, a convicted rapist who has raped 2 women will absolutely do that so they can go to the women's prison, not the men's prison, where they will have access to all of the targets possible. Can you imagine being the rapist's cellmate? Yeah, think about that.